The world is changing. Cities are evolving. With adoption and deployment of digital technologies, cities are now more than brick and mortar. They are becoming innovatively functional and aspirational. Communities are becoming smart. Smart cities are the future.
The basic elements required in a smart city: two things: electricity, constant electricity, and high-speed internet.
In a smart city, the goal is to address growing urbanization challenges with a digital framework. The framework is an intelligent network of connected objects and machines that transmit data using wireless technology and the cloud.
A village with electricity and high-speed internet is already smart.
Smart cities can improve energy distribution, streamline trash collection, decrease traffic congestion, and even improve air quality with help from the Internet of Things.
The right leadership with the right vision, I think, can be able to deliver and change some of our cities to smart cities.
Programos Foundation is today a major advocate for the development of smart and connected communities and cities in Nigeria. The COVID-19 pandemic devastated the world, but it has also demonstrated just how much digital innovations are needed to serve the society. Innovations that make the people smarter, better connected, healthier, precipitating solutions that have a positive impact and relevant local content. Amos Emmanuel, chairman of Programos Foundation, constant refrain is that change does not happen on its own. It is influenced by people who innovate. He is always calling and urging innovators to rise and occupy leadership positions in every part of the world, particularly in Nigeria. He is a firm believer that the world innovation cannot be complete without leadership contribution from Africa and especially Nigeria. Programs Foundation Africa, tapping into the growing, the digital awareness, has taken up the challenge to help the continent progress. Programs Foundation was established in 2009 by Programos Software Limited, a long-standing leader in the capital market financial technology subsector that saw the need to fund activities to realize the goal to deliver innovation-led ecosystem for Nigerians. Amos Emmanuel, Chairman, Chief Software Architect for Programos Software Group, is a prolific software designer and entrepreneur. He has served as ICT backbone to numerous financial institutions in Nigeria with over 25 years experience automating and maintaining more than 100 capital market operator organizations in Nigeria and Ghana with the multiple award-winning Cloud Integra. He is the UN World Summit Awards eminent national expert for Nigeria. Programos Foundation is engaged in significant work. It is helping Africa harness the power of technology. It is teaching Africa to innovate. The impressive and groundbreaking work that Programos Foundation has pioneered is particularly important in the light of the United Nations UN Decade of Action on the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs. The Decade of Action calls for accelerating sustainable solutions to all the world's biggest challenges, ranging from poverty and gender to climate change, inequality,
Right. Good morning, all.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, thank you so very much. Good morning. Okay, this morning and today, we'll be engaging the operations people in stockbroking. We're quite happy that we had our first two sessions, particularly in the area of system administration. And as of yesterday, we were trying to give life to the compliance operation so that it is also important for all of us to know that there's at least one or two things that even the compliance and internal control people can do in our environments. They are not totally taken out. This morning, if we have the presence of like I have our chief host, the president of the NGX, which I can see in the house. At least I see a key person there in the house. If he's in or if he's not, I would like to have a word with my sister there, Madam Yemisi Fashina, if she can give us a word on behalf of the president of NGX. So we just get started. And I think I have the permission of Mr. Kehinde. Kehinde, are you on the call? Mr. Kehinde, on the call? Yeah, you permit me, and the use of a particular account that I may want to use as a sample. I think that being said, today is just for us to hear about the changes that we have had on the application, Cloud Integra, which now goes by name Quantum Cloud Integra. And the Quantum Cloud Integra is based on some of the future of what we had to do. And besides that, necessarily the application needed to just move forward from existing application development tools to some other ones that are more futuristic. And as it is, we are also taking advantage of the fact that we are in an era where artificial intelligence is giving us that leverage to take advantage of the records that we keep, which is going to be key to what we are going to do here. Do I have a message from Auntie Yemisi? Are you there? Are you on the call? Please, if we can just spare some time here. Yesterday, we realized some people were still trading while doing this. Let's just, good morning, Auntie Yemisi. Kindly confirm to me. Okay, all right. I think a colleague is going to contact him. Okay, but at any rate, let me just share the scope of what today is like. Let me share the scope of what today is like. All right. Today, basically, it's about the stockbroking operations. And of course, on the Quantum Cloud Integra users, particularly here in Nigeria and Ghana, it was initiated about a week ago, and we'll continue within this week after these sessions in Nigeria. So, but at any rate, the whole goal is to see how the schedule of the application has changed over time. And we today, because it's just a session for an hour, and the good thing about it is that on each of these application modules or program pages, you will always have what we call an education center. The education center takes you forward, takes you onward in terms of learning what you do on every page that you pick to work on the application. And we're going to see some of this very shortly. We've been at this since the beginning of the session. We've had series of sessions together. So like we say today, it will not be like the risk management concerns, But one thing that concerns us for today that we spoke about, particularly yesterday, was that what we do has to actually be put under proper internal control, because there is actually an internal control and risk management concerns that actually affects what you do. And so therefore, even as a software company, we have to begin to look at modules, operations in stockbroking, because this is not cast in stone. Somebody has to do something. What is the consequence and all of that? So that is where your internal control is very important, that they actually also be there to develop a footprint of what works. But then from our end, we've been able to at least research all the footprints granular that you can actually begin to work, and you see the functional domain of that, like in your unit, trading and other management is becoming very important, as well as the specific task within the software, things that relate, things one or two persons will be able to do is taken care of. Then the internal control and risk is very key. And of course, the whole essence of you managing what you do is so that the strategic importance of revenue protection and regulatory and client's trust is perfectly protected. And we say that today you have that leveraging of artificial intelligence and automation enhancement, which also will be something that your data can better be informing you, rather than you having to go through a whole lot of Herculean tasks, all because you want to do one thing or the other in a typical stockbroking firm. Don't forget, your bottom line is very important. And the way life is going, it will not be too much about humans. It will be about the tools that humans have used to better themselves or better their operations. And that is the goal. And we actually went beyond even what you do to also share that you are working with several other business processes of your organization, depending on what your organization does. Some organizations are into so much, and the entire gamut of all this operation actually could portray certain brand new risks which have to be put under control. And that's why the starting up of this message is very important at this point. And going forward, we can now at this point try to go into what we plan to do for the day. Thank you once again. All right. So permit me to prepare an environment where I want to start from the side of the customers, for instance, because all you do is for the purpose of improving the position, the interest of a particular customer somewhere. It's about the investor. It's about the client. It's not sometimes about you, even though yours is could be more important, but you are actually there. You are out there because of those people outside who are actually those people you call the customers. So now, what have we done in that respect? And that is where I want to start from. I won't bore you with so many technical things, but then we'll be directed to where things are and the likes as we speak. So first, I would like to start my environment, and believe we will all enjoy this. Okay. 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 Please permit me to correct one access detail. Mr. Kinde, I sent you a message. Mr. Kinde, are you on the call? Mr. Kinde, are you on the call? That's my phone.
Sorry, you're not audible again. Go ahead.
We lost the boys. Yo.
So please, in a bit, we'll soon get to load what I need to share, please. Okay.
Why is your clothes different color? Hmm? I want that clear.
Okay.
No, yeah, blue, no, yeah, brown.
So because each enumerator is going to interview about 80.
Sorry. Yes.
Five 11 days. You don't have to spread it so that you reduce your load per day. It's going to, my colleague is going to set up your.
Let me tell you.
Also give her a paper with either to print or to sign. If she can sign, you would have read it into her and say, this is what the study is about. Just
Okay. Okay. Okay, so okay, I guess my screen is up right now. Is it coming? Is it up? Oh, great. Okay, great.
It's up now.
It's up, but it's blurred. It's not clear.
It's not clear.
Yes.
Wondering. Excuse me. Is it better? Sorry, is this better, please?
Okay.
So one thing is security, cybersecurity can bring that
Yes, better.
Is this better,
For
please?
instance, when speaking to executives who are in charge of maybe financial allocation,
Excuse me?
cybersecurity departments,
Please,
it's
can
important
somebody
to
mute?
Not much difference.
Somebody should mute, please.
It's better
Somebody-
right now. It's better.
Okay, great. So please, somebody should mute if you're not speaking, please. Kindly mute if you're not speaking, please. So thanks. Right. So there. So please, the model right now, we have the AI boosted equity trading. And sorry, I'm actually working from the source code. That's why it's a bit delayed. And of course, a couple of prompts here and there because I'm working from the source code. But at the same time, it will allow us to do what we necessarily have to do. I wanted to first start by a client contact somewhere, but for some reason, I couldn't get the right credentials to accessing that from a live place. But then let's just get going. Operations right now is covered more from here. Now, what we used to have on the old Integra, please, almost 99% is fully covered. So if you're actually an Integra or Cloud Integra user, you have not been changed traditionally. What we've just done for you is just an enhancement and of course a shift from developmental tool. And of course, providing for possible enhancements in the future. This is just the path to what has just happened. So the change may not be traditional because your process remains your process. Are you with me? So that same process you were doing that you know how to do, please, you are not out of place. Those things remain as it were. And then what are we now doing differently? It's just because one interface may change and the other interface may change. And one thing we also promise or you shall let you know here is that most of the forms that you have are going to have education centers. What is the education center? Education center, something like a guide that tells you what that page is all about and how you are to use them. So it's just very easy. So when you are looking for a guide, such guides are not things you'll be looking for a piece of paper elsewhere, but they are all modified and attached to the application from the operation to operation. So we still have our bond equity being classified in their account maintenance, and under the account maintenance, you still have your account opening. For those who were familiar and using the customer complaints module, I know, like for instance, in Stanbic Bank, they actually have a complaints channel where customers actually, when they document that, oh, something was wrong, and by way of their audits, their audit expects that they need to have record of all such complaints from customers so that over a period of time, they are able to access themselves of how customers are fed and all that. So that is still there. It's not new. Then we have the customer bank updates, and the customer bank update is solely used for updating your direct cash settlements process. And of course, documenting the bank accounts of customers. So that actually also hasn't changed. Now, we now have a new account opening. The new account opening is just like something additional, and this is planned to now integrate with CSCS account opening API. That is the outstanding thing. So the new account opening will be able to, you will be able to fill the form, and we now seek to get this platform with the CSCS where whatever you are opening will be able to seamlessly go to CSCS, and that is the arm of that planning. And that is what this is being worked, and this is to link up with that part of the CSCS in planning. Then contract note notification. This was something that has been there for a long time. What is it for? We could use it to determine, assuming some customers feel, oh, every time you buy from me, I get an alert, and they feel disturbed, or because we are now real time, oh, they bought for me now at 11 o'clock, the contract note has gone. They bought again at 11:30 or 11:40, the contract note has gone. And the customer feels, oh, this is like coming like a bombardment. So there could be a principle that customers sometimes want to let you know that, please, can I just have this like a summary? And that is why, rather than sending the customer one by one during the real-time trading sessions, you can now say, oh, all such instant notifications, please, for this customer, halt it, because the customer has announced that he does not want that. He may want the summary to come to him by end of or close of trading session. So that means what he needs is like that summary version that is usually done, which will just go like one sheet, and that will go like one information. So that is the kind of planning that this can help you. And please, when we are opening and we are discussing this, it's just for you to please take this back, and we can now see how we can plan and implement this back home. And this is the whole essence. Even for the rest of the other people, if we need to like be able to review our internal operational templates for efficiency, if the case of customer interest and customers and protection is important. Now, the other things in here, like okay, the RM performance targeting. In this instance, I know in some businesses, some of you might not be doing it, but quite a couple of people are heavy. Heavy in the sense that you have account officers attached to your customers. In fact, in some cases, they want to know that maybe you are giving us targets because, like a marketing thing, how are you faring with the customers that are linked or attached to you? So those target updates are what we can document, and of course, it can be used for analysis sake to begin to measure whether you are doing well or not. Like we shared in the under the system admin 2 days ago, an area which is like about resources. All these things have an informational area under the admin where you can generate all such relationships in terms of people we call the relationship managers, people that are just the relationship officers, you know. So this relationship is about whether the customer is doing well, what profitability are you creating with the customer, and the things like that. Then, of course, we have the biometrics. Now, before now, we used to have biometrics where you pick one customer and you are updating for just his picture, his signature, and so on and so forth. But then the account biometrics the multi will allow you to, in one instance, update all those biometric figures if they are available. Like you have the picture, you have the utility bill, so you could have scanned all of those, and just in one go, you can pick all of those things and you are submitting all documents just at a time. That's actually the additional feature for account biometrics, which is multi. We have not removed the single one. The single one is still retained. Now, and also, this facility is also given to your typical customers who actually log into their customer portal. In their customer portal, assuming certain documents have become stale, expired, the expiry will alert the customer. That is now document expiry. The document will actually alert the customers, and we can now decide, do we want these customers to be able to upload this document and it comes internally for your approval, or you are just asking them to send them via mail? This is a possibility that they can do this within their portfolio account. Yes, upload their new ID, upload their expired, their renewed documentation and all that, so that you will now see it. It will not be active on the account until it goes through an approval of documentation before the account will now take the value. So then on rate changes, what we used to call concessions, please, let's note this. On concessions, because some of you are into equity instrument dealing, you also do NASD instrument dealing, or maybe other categories like ETF and co. Please, the provision for you to be able to update a concession has to be very clear. What concession are you updating? So what we've done here is that under just rate changes management, we have brought together all of the instruments so that you can now, at one point, decide whether you are updating concession for ETF, whether you are updating concession for the NASD instrument account, or bond, or equity. So this is actually very important. And whoever does this should know that whatever concession you apply, either for buy or for sell of a particular portfolio, that will be the basis for how the system will process the trade and use. And one other thing that we are trying to do now is that at the point of use searching, can we not let the system also bring an information on concession on the list of things you see? But then, if things get slow as a result of doing that, we'll find a better way to do that, because it's always very important that you are so sure of the concession of the person at the point in time. And some of us also need to know that when you are changing concession, last month I was on 1.2. About a week ago, it changed to 1.1. And maybe from today going forward, you may update my concession to be 1.25. Now, we do not delete anyone's concession. This historical relationship or historical availability of different concessions matter. And the system at the point of processing the transaction, say for today, will be using the effective date of that concession. That is what will be binding. That will be what will be supreme. But if I go backwards to process a trade of maybe a month ago, it is the 1.2 that was there for me about a month ago that will be effective, because it follows the date regime. And it will only change unless at least an officer changes that, changes the concession to a different thing. So this is what we want to share about. Then, of course, account merger. If we are familiar with account merger, sometimes we have instances placed that some of you have initiated a merge process, but guess what? You never concluded it. Yes. Before you decide to merge two accounts together, there must be a reason. I'm sure you don't just want to merge the accounts, but take note, you do not merge account only in your firm. It must have started at the depository. If the CSCS has not consolidated the accounts together, then you making the merger effect on the software here does not make any sense. Because the main reason why the accounts were to be consolidated would have been communicated to the NGX, to CSCS, and the accounts would have happened so. So it is actually when that happens that you come to do account merger. And please take note, the account merger effect, if successful, totally deletes one account, transfers the content into the retained account, into the retained portfolio account. But would you want to do that kind of a thing and you're trying to do that without being sure of things? Is the reason why when you initiate, there must be another party to approve it. And the approval process is to ask questions. Why are we merging? And if we are merging for good, is management aware? Has CSCS been communicated? Has that been perfected in CSCS before the approval can be done? I'm just sharing this for those who may be in charge of approval of such a thing. Then the other things will be staff target update, really, like this still points to the staff relationship thing with customers, and if the company gives them a target and perhaps some income or benefits that they can share with and all that. Then intermember update, please, has to do with one account leaving another firm and coming to you. If that happens, there is always like a format, like your trade file. There will always be a format where the intermember comes. If this format is gotten, you can actually upload that format and the system. But then before you do this, an account ought to have been opened. But please take note, intermember accounts can never be partial. Account that you do that is involved with intermember is always wholly. The account is moving everything it has in ABC securities and moving it to XYZ securities. So that operation has to be managed in totality. The account has to exist with you, and you can now upload the intermember transfer, provided the format is what you have. In the documentation, we'll express and share more along that area. Account opening requirements. Account opening requirements from one company to another may differ. And what does that imply? It's like we're saying we need your passport photograph, we need this, we need that, we need this. And like we're pointing to this era where data is very important. You realize that if your company demands for 4 documents, ID, utility bill, maybe your form, you must complete a form. That is your company's open account opening must be filled. And maybe lastly, your signature specimen somewhere. And take note, if you have all these 4 done, that means you have perfected the full requirement, which may be about 100%, meaning that each of the points could be like 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. So if I have 4 of what is required, and that is all that we ask for in my firm, that means the person is 100% compliant. But there must be a benchmark. If the score for you to become compliant is 75, what that simply means is that at least out of 4, you must have the 3, because the 3 will give you your summation of the qualifying 75%. Well, this is just what this could say. And that is your KYC standards as it would be. Then we still retain, so that we don't say that what we have before, we are moving away and changing. But we are saying that all those and each of those programs were rewritten using a new language tool, just because we need to shift away from the risk of those tools of the past because of advancements coming up, of course, in the world of development. That's why this is changing. Otherwise, it would have been easier for us to just continue and that we'll just do what we're doing before, but then this is a necessity. Now, detaching a broker, this has to do with instances when some of you, have to pay concessions, or rather, a kind of brokerage commission or something, or benefit to people who bring businesses to you, that you can even share income together. So when you do this attachment and detachment, some companies do this, but some companies may not. But maybe in some places, they still do it manually. But if you have this as a relationship, what you do is to pair the clients and the agents The language used to be agent, but it's like the market doesn't like the word agent. So you could just change that to say a sub-broker. So the sub-broker now, it should be mapped with its clients so that anytime you process contract note, what happens? Anytime you process contract note, the system will automatically distribute the income or benefit due to that sub-broker and directly credits the account automatically at every time that you process your contract note, even without you knowing. That's already happening. And I think people can attest to that people's agents' accounts are updated. And it's good for them, the agents, to also verify this because they are the ones that bring the business. So if they are cheated, it's very easy for them to reconcile with you. Commission rates, this has been moved out to the admin by way of the statutory parameter and all that. Then attached sub-broker, sorry, this was detached. This is attached. Attached means you are adding, but if you have added one agent to a wrong client, you can actually do what we call detach. That's the opposite of attaching. Then, of course, the other things are corporate actions, which many people don't even bother about. Dividend updates, lien updates, reverse split updates, stock split updates, when stocks are delisted, when stocks are delisted from the market, an update is very important. Now, that's an investment account bonus update. I want to raise this, for instance. Now, it's okay that maybe a typical customer's account bonus may not have been updated because you really don't owe them a portfolio management service. But as a stockbroking firm, that you have your own in-house proprietary trading accounts, that is internal, within your purview, the portfolio net worth of that account matters because don't forget, you actually compute daily, you compute based on every point of disinvestment, your capital gain and capital losses. So because you compute your capital gain, capital losses, it therefore means that what enters that account is very important. If you now see that an external impact, such as corporate action, and a bonus happens somewhere, and you do not update yourself, there is likely that likelihood that your capital gain or loss will be erroneous because you have not adjusted to the corporate action that has been announced by the company. I don't know whether somebody here is understanding this, if it were to be an accounting matter, but no, it starts from the operations people. Because if you have not done this, then the accounts department will be the people to suffer it. You are on the ground. You know when these corporate actions happen. So the information has to just be there that your in-house proprietary trading accounts has to be updated accordingly so that subsequent trades should be able to be adjusted for the right gain or loss. But the system will not know. You'll be using this last information to determine a gain or loss when you are trading today. And this is the essence and the importance of you ensuring that your bonus update is key and updated as timely as possible. And okay, we still have the clear status where sometimes we have locked orders that has blocked financial positions and all that. You can clear status. That is still possible here. And this order is a separate module entirely on asset management. Okay, and okay, I'll just move briefly to under the trade processing strategy here. All those strategies about computing trades and all of that practice is still there. But then some of the key change is like in the manual trade processing. This particular one was actually my main talk of what units need. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, because I've not, excuse me. Today. Right. I think someone shared this a few days ago. And let me just also share this point before I log in, that one of the things I need you to know from the operations is that a customer will be able to log in, will be able to open an account freely from your main menu. And this information will send you alerts for you to approve or request to speak with the person before you do your approval. And of course, get to follow up on the appropriate KYC. And the form here might look like this. Let me just take a time, because let me just share what is there briefly. Okay, sorry, is my phone, okay, just to be sure my screen is on. Okay. Okay, so is my screen on? Someone just help me confirm. Oh dear.
Yes, it's on.
Okay, sorry. So okay, yes, thanks very much. Now, just to share that, because that's actually an operations role too. So if a customer comes on your portal and they are able to have a 3-point wizard, they will be able to open an account. And once they open an account, this account will settle in the bond equity area for approval. Like take for instance, these people here, they have just these basic things. Personal information, that's all we need. And everything that comes here, because we need to validate what is coming in here. Otherwise, some of the new artificial intelligence agents just roaming around the internet can be opening accounts at will. So we have to also implement some security on the form, because it's just coming like an expressway, and you're automatically receiving things to contend with. So the basic information will just include the account type, their name, title, and what have you. And when we get all of this from them, somebody somewhere in the office should be able to confirm then the contact information, the email address, and what have you, and they can just ensure that the whole of that is completed through a 3-step wizard. It's a very simple stuff, and they will be able to, and he'll be able to continue. Once your information gets in here, at least you get an alert, and somebody in the office there should be able to follow up. And that is one thing there that is the customer online boarding. So a customer can be created from that class, and I felt I needed to just mention that. Then I'm going back in here. I was to go to that trade processing, and the trade processing is that what you just do now is that once you get your trade file right, once you have your trade file right, let me just go there. Okay, there's something we call the manual trade file. Assuming your connection failed, or there's cause for you to process a trade file, whether in the past or today or going forward. In fact, anybody in your office can do this job now, because there's no specialization involved any longer. There's nothing special that you need to do. Oh, sorry. Okay. I mentioned that this might be prompted. Let me just ask you to continue. Sorry. Okay. It's like the Zoom is giving me okay. I hope it's taking my continue. I'm clicking continue to continue. Oh, sorry. Okay. Someone's blocking me there. Okay. Or could this be, oh, sorry, that was not the form I needed, please. That wasn't the form I needed. Let me see. Let me see, the form I need here is direct processing. That form should be direct processing. That's what you use now for trade manipulation. Okay, sorry, so many options here. There are some options there that are not meant for the Nigerian capital market. Ghana markets actually has their own formats. I particularly actually christened this one as direct. Okay, depository direct. Yes, depository direct trade processing. That will be more active and usable for your case. Now, as you can see, what the system does is that it identifies this particular format. If you notice, that format has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10. I think the 10th or what have you is the one, the 10th or so is one that is wrapping around, because my screen is somehow broader or bigger. So at any rate, if it is this format or this CSV format, this format also is a sample. These are the two formats. Once you have this and you upload, you do not need to change anything. That 10-column arrangement you want to go and do, please, you don't need it. You don't need to process all those things. And the system will pick and identify the broker, the trade line, the date, the stock, the quantity, the price, the client ID, and all that. Everything will be about 11 that is going to pick. So, and the whole idea is that when you now choose the file, you have to, at this point, choose a file, and this will open up to share where did you keep your trade file. As soon as you pick it and you say upload, it will open, it will read everything, and it doesn't go to process first. It will give you your entire visual. It will read the file and everything. If you have 1,000 lines of trade, it will show you and count everything on the screen before you ask it to process. Sorry, I don't know whether you're getting me. So it's a lot easier now that in fact, at this point, if you have an item that does not, maybe it has invalid account number, it has invalid symbol, you have to address it before you start at all. So it's not that one that you are looking for how to go and do pull out, because pull out is being tamed totally. Pull out is actually being tamed. It will bring everything up. If that trade file has any single problem, it will classify and count the problem for you, and until you address it before you can upload that trade file successfully. So it's a lot milder and straightforward. So the confusion of, oh, I'm just doing it and I'm doubting how many lines doesn't even arise, because the system would have picked your trade file, either of these two formats, and it will pick them, process them, and share them on your screen. And you are the one to even verify when you are good and every line is fine, all total lines fine. Once it's green and it's fine, you can ask it to process and you'll be good. So there are not that time of trial and error in processing. So it's actually a very intelligent screen for trade processing that relates with formatting from a source file. Once you pick it and upload, everything shows on your screen, the column 1, the counterparty, the full names, and everything. So you having to go and divide, and that error of sometimes you cut a part of price and join the quantity or doesn't even arise. The system will use its own intelligence to read and bring everything to the window here before you process. So that is actually one major change about trade processing. And like I said, it's as easy as even an MD of the firm who probably is looking for a technical person to process. Any MD should be able to process a trade file and balance a day. That is the goal of and the essence of this. Then one other key value here for your day settlements is what we have on what we have on post-trade board analytics, or the first one. Let me see this, either this one or the second one. No, I doubt if it's this. Let me close this so I can click my screen. Let me close this so I can click my screen. Okay. So for sake of it, let me just share that. Yes. Okay. So at this point, you will see that in a typical trading session like today, Markets are open. Trades are ongoing as we speak. This board here will be by the last transaction that the OMS has received, for instance. Your trade purchases and sales are dynamically changing on this screen. Sorry, I don't know whether you're getting me. As the market is currently, because this will be pointing to the current day at any point in time, your trade transactions are building up the purchase total in terms of the consideration, the various parameters, the standard, the commission, and everything is building up. That by close of markets, the last item here being the net, the daily net post-trade settlement amount, that is what you should be settling with CSCS. I don't know whether somebody is getting me. Now, graphically, what is it that CSCS has at the end of today as your settlement? Because that thing is actually something to tell you that if you agree today, you agree yesterday, you agree 2 days ago and the likes, you are in order. But the day that 1 kobo is missing, it means, please, that one customer is suffering from that 1 kobo. I don't know whether anyone here can give clarity to this discussion. I'm in the house, and that means, let me just share that. So when that happens, and we get to know the total and whatever, the system will automatically use this amount to adjust for settlement where it is balanced, which is part of what the accounts department does every day. The accounts department is like they are the goalkeeper of everyday's trade. They are like the goalkeeper of everyday's trade. So, but like we say, this board here will give you a dynamic changing value from beginning of market to the end of market, and your business is by 2:30. We should know whether we should go home, quite frankly, because I don't know what else after 2:30 we want to be doing again. So the net difference here for all the trades of the day, for which we will know that our total purchase is this amount, our total sales is this amount, and the total net is this, and we agree with CSCS. Can somebody tell me what else it is I'm still doing? Shifting my suit on my chair. I could remember stockbroking way back, 9, 10 o'clock. Some people are still shifting their suits. I'm planning to see how they can leave to go and keep their cars to leave. That was stockbroking. But stockbroking today, as market session ends, I do not see what other job, quite frankly. Is it the accounting? Is it the customer settlement? Is it what? So, but then the risk, because of the space, is why the risk was actually challenged so that they can pay more attention because things are now faster. So if there's also going to be any fast issue, it would have happened within that short time of real-time processes. So this is now the difference from a firm that is connected by OMS against a firm that is not connected by OMS, where they have to wait till end of market, and that is perhaps is looking as if after market closes is when their business and operation just starts work. It can be so in such an environment, but it's no longer in the vogue. It's no longer that fashion because automation has rested that by 2:30 when market, and even if the market extends till 4 or 5 that we've heard being rumored, it's the same process. We will only be having larger volumes, more activity, extended sessions for post-trade. Let me just take questions here, please. And please, particularly there's somebody, especially for those new to stockbroking. And I want to, because right now I can't see unless I stop my sharing. Unless I stop my sharing. Mommy, Badminton, internet, please.